About a week ago, Daredevil Born Again finished its first season. I am going to review each episode. I'm going to talk about what the episode is about, and then just kind of review it. And then at the end, probably just like my review of the season. But let's just get straight into it. Episode 1. I wish I had the titles, but episode 1 it starts off with everything happy. You know, Karen, Matt, Foggy, they're all walking, having fun. They go to Josie's bar. It feels just like the old show. And then about 10ish, probably around 7-10 minutes in, all heck breaks loose. Hell, Bullseye shows up. He gets Matt away. Then he shoots Foggy. Matt comes back and fights him in a fight that I really, really love. I know it's not the best CGI, but I like it. I think all the fights in here, including Daredevil, so like this one, the 2 Muse fights, and then the finale, are probably my favorite Daredevil. Not the best, I know that. It's not the best looking, not the best choreographed, whatever, but they're probably my favorite. Cause like he's just in like the costume, and like with MCU he can do like all these tricks and stuff. So I like that. But after that Foggy dies. Hopefully not, but it seems that way for now. And then we get the new title card, which is really cool. I don't know which one I like better. But then 1 year later, Matt is obviously having to deal with Foggy's death. He's not as happy. He stopped being Daredevil. He's got a new firm and everything. So he goes to meet Karen at he goes to Bullseye's trial. Karen shows up. They have one last meeting, and then Karen disappears until the finale. And Karen isn't my favorite character. She never has. In fact, my least favorite episode of the original series is her backstory. But I do gotta say that when she left, it does feel kind of weird. And then she comes back, and that makes the show feel a little bit better. So it's a weird relationship. But anyway, this episode's basically just like setting up the show and like introducing these characters again, setting up all the side characters and stuff, and the plots. So this is a good episode. Definitely one of the better scenes with the fight. Obviously Heather Glenn's introduced, which I'll get into her later. Cherry is introduced. I can't remember her name, but Matt's like law partner is introduced. Kingpin has his whole thing where he's meeting with Vanessa, who I'm not a fan of, but she grew on me more as the season went on. He obviously runs for mayor, and then he gets Buck as his like right-hand man, who the whole season was calling like John Hamm, because to me he looked like John Hamm. So, and then Daniel, who is Fisk's young assistant. I do not like him at all. I really don't like his character, and it's supposed, like, obviously he's supposed to be hated, but it's not the way they wanted it. He's stupid. I did not want that many scenes from him. Like, I thought he was gonna die. He should have died. There is no reason for his character to be here. He is not scary. He is stupid. I don't like him. But basically episode 1 ends with Matt looking up at Kingpin after Kingpin won mayor. And I got it. Heaven's Half Hour was the title. I should have known that, but I didn't. Episode 2 is Optics. And this was supposed to be where the original version of the show was supposed to start. This is my least favorite episode of the show. I don't know why. It's not as great as the other ones. But this episode is basically just introducing you to White Tiger and like his court case, and like Matt getting involved with Heather a little bit more and stuff like that. So it's not my favorite, but it's still a good one. And that ending was pretty great too, where Matt like goes berserk around the cops. That was pretty good. But I don't really have that much to say about this episode. Like it was it's not the worst episode of television I've ever seen. It's not the best, even though this season does have that. It's not the best. It never will be, but it's tolerable. It's good, but I wish there was more. This season in general is like really good, and I like it a lot more than other people, but I do think that not having Daredevil in it that much did kind of drag it down. And I don't know why they chose to do that. I know it wasn't the writers from the new team that did episodes 1, 8, and 9. It was the other ones, but yeah. Episode 3 is The Hollow of His Hand, which is the episode where White Tiger's in trial. Matt obviously outs his identity. He ends up White Tiger ends up getting shot through the head at the end. I like this episode. I like the lawyer side of it, and that ending, when I first saw it, like my jaw like dropped. Like I was sitting there in my bed at like 5 a.m, just like, what the heck. But this episode's another one that it's good, but like when you compare it to episodes that are coming, it's not as great. And I like episodes in the show that other people don't. Like 6 and 7 have been, what I've heard, like polarizing, and people are like, meh. I really like those. And then episode 9 is my favorite episode of television. And other people like it, but I've heard some other people like say how it's bad and stuff. I'm just like, for you. I mean, it's a hot take of mine. I have a lot of hot takes. But yeah, episode 3 was that was a hard week to get through. All these weeks were hard to get through. I don't get the week. I wish it was like daily, but I don't really have that much to talk about in episode 3. Episode 4 is Sic Semper Systema, and this is where we get the return of Frank Castle. It starts with Matt and White Tiger's, I think, niece dealing with his death. And then Matt's like, someone out there will get him, which is kind of like him almost coming back as Daredevil. But I like this episode, especially the Frank scene. That whole scene with Punisher was just awesome. And like him pushing Matt to like say Foggy, and then like Bullseye and all that stuff. It was really great. Like, this episode was fine, and then that happened, and it was like, boom, here you go. But yeah, it's not my favorite of the series, but it's really, really good. And I like the ending where like Matt's like practicing with his baton grapple hook thing, and then like Kingpin's like going back into Kingpin, and then we get like the little bit of Muse, who I want to talk about at episode 6. But before episode 6, we got episode 5 with Interest. This is the bottle bank heist episode. Doesn't move the plot forward. It doesn't really move most of anything forward. It's just Matt goes to the bank, walks out, criminals come in, he hears it, he goes back, acting like the blind, dumb person, like, where am I? And obviously he knows where he is, he knows what's happening. This episode was really cool. Like when he says he has to go to the bathroom, and then he takes the guy to the stairs, and then like completely whoops the guy. That was really cool. But this episode was like, I liked the ending with him like beating the crap out of the guy, and then switching the gem for the candy at the end. Obviously, Miss Marvel's dad's in it, and he was fine. I've seen the Marvels, and then I've seen the first 2 episodes of Miss Marvel. I'm thinking I might go back someday, but for now I don't know. But like, they're fine characters. They're not the greatest, but it's like it connects to the MCU. I like that. But it as a bottle episode, it does kind of like not it doesn't move the story forward. And since the story is Matt getting back to Daredevil, which is what we want to see, it's kind of I don't want to say boring, but like, it's not the greatest, but it's like the episode itself is really great, if you get what I mean. Episode 6, Excessive Force. This is where everything starts. Fisk gets his anti-vigilante task force, which includes Officer Powell, who I haven't mentioned, but he's like a cop who's a big part. I don't like him at all. He is stupid. That's the point. We get introduced to Cole North, who is a comic book character, and depending on not how the season ends, might be a wasted comic book character. But I'm not the biggest fan of Kingpin's side of the story, because like, Kingpin isn't my favorite character. That's probably like a hot take, because a lot of people are like, he's great, but he's not my favorite. Like, he's a good bad guy and stuff, but for most of, like, for this season to be Matt and Fisk, like, their stories, Fisk, I don't get why Fisk is such a big part. Like, I'm not a big fan of him, so I'm not a big fan of his story. I come here for Daredevil, for Matthew. I know people, like, when they talk about it, they have, like, characters that are stand out and stuff. Mine's Daredevil. Like, I'm a Daredevil fan. I'm there for Daredevil. But episode 6 obviously brings back Daredevil in a very cool way. Angela Del Toro, I think that's her name, searches for Muse since no one else is doing it, gets kidnapped. Matt finds out, and he like calls the police, and then he's just like, F it. And then he puts the suit back on, and we get an awesome fight scene between him and Muse, where it starts out really cool, where Muse like walks out and he's just looking, and then he like looks and he sees something, and it shows the train and like something running. You can barely make it out, and then Muse and then grapple hook, whoa, and then Daredevil comes flying in. It's really cool. And then this fight scene is just like really cool. Like, probably my favorite part about this fight scene is when Muse is like hitting Daredevil, and like Daredevil's like head is jerking and like there's blood spreading, but he just keeps coming. I really like that, because it's like he seems like an otherworldly presence, but he's not. He's just a guy from Hell's Kitchen, and I really like that. But obviously it ends, Muse gets away, Daredevil saves Angela, and then he's like, I'm here, I'm back. And then it goes to episode 7, Art for Art's Sake, which is probably the most polarizing episode of the series, I think. Obviously, it's the one where Muse dies, or at least so far, that's what it looks like. Yeah, obviously, Muse could have been done better, but for what we got, I think they handled them pretty well. Obviously, we get Muse like talking to Heather, therapy, blah blah blah. He gets dressed up as Muse, and then fight happens. Heather ends up shooting him, which will lead into something I want to talk about next episode. But This episode's I like this episode a lot. Obviously we get more Daredevil, which is what I'm here for. So I like that. A lot of people didn't like it because of what they did to Muse. Obviously, yeah, Muse could have been handled better, but I really like the way they did him. And he's probably gonna come back. Probably someone else taking up the mantle. Probably like the guy from the comics. But for the start of Muse, it's fine. I think what they're trying to do with Muse is like something where it's not a guy, it's the mask. So like someone else will take up the Muse mantle and carry on with it. I don't like sorry. I don't get why it's such a big thing, because it's like, yeah, it could have been handled better. But what we got is good. But yeah, that's episode 7. I want to get to episode 8. Isle of Joy. I want to talk about Heather, because the first scene you get with her is her and Matthew talking, and Matt's like, she's like, Muse and Daredevil are in the same category, and then Matt's like, Daredevil saved you, and then she's like, I saved me, and it's like, shut up. You were getting choked out. You were dying before Daredevil came in to save you. I get if you say something like, I killed Muse, I contributed, blah, blah, blah. But you did not save yourself. You were dead if Daredevil didn't come. Sorry, I dropped something. But, like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. As Chris Evans would say, I don't like it. I don't like it. But, like, shut up. You did not save you. Daredevil saved you. You were getting choked by a guy in a mask. Anyway, before I get on with the rest of the episode, the guy who, directs this and stuff, or makes it, I don't remember exactly which guy, but, like, a day or two ago, he said that, after the finale of this, Heather and Matt are exes, so they broke up, and I saw that, and I was like, yes. Yes. But, episode 8 is obviously the return of Bullseye. It's the first episode, besides the first episode, that is completely directed by the new team, and it's one of the better ones. It's got Return of Bullseye, it's got the Gala, which is pretty cool. It's got Swordsman back, who I forgot to mention, I think, in episode 6. He's from Hawkeye. He's pretty good. And then Commissioner Gallo comes back after, I think, episode 2 being the last episode you saw him in. So, he comes back 3 episodes. You think he's going to be a big part going forward? No. We'll get to that in episode 9. But, the whole Gala thing was pretty cool. Like, that was half the episode. And, Daredevil wasn't in this episode, like, as Daredevil. But the people who make this episode make it seem like it flies by. That's my thing with the first one, too, is when I first watched that, it flew by, even though Daredevil wasn't in it. And then, episode 2 and so on, like, kinda flew by. Sorry for all the pauses. I guess I'm just a pause guy. But, episode 2 and onward kind of flew by, but at the same time, there were episodes that didn't. Like, episode 2 didn't. Episode 3 has some lagging. But, yeah, this is the first one that they directed since the first one. And it's one of the better ones, because these people know what they're doing. They know what they want. They know what the fans want. But, the ending, obviously, is the biggest talking point of it, where Bullseye obviously got out of prison using the little tooth maneuver from the comics, which I think was pretty cool. Then he goes to the Gala. We find out that Vanessa ordered the hit on Foggy. And then Bullseye's, like, pointing it at Vanessa, and then he's like, wait, and he moves it to Fisk. Obviously, Matt, being the super cool dude he is, he goes to Fisk, moves him out of the way, and he takes a bullet to the shoulder. And the episode ends with a cool song playing, Matt on the ground with, like, red light, and then Bullseye's like, oh no, Kingpin's like, what the heck? And then we get episode 9, the finale, my favorite episode of TV, called Straight to Hell. It opens with a flashback, Vanessa talking to Bullseye. Obviously, it's showing that she hired him to kill Bullseye because of Red Hook, which was a big talking point of the season. I hope he's not dead. I really hope he's not dead. But then we get I dropped something again. We get Fisk and Vanessa just like in their therapy room after the shooting. Obviously, Fisk has like Matt's blood on his chest, and he's just like he went back to full Kingpin mode, saying that oh, we can make money. Then Matt is in the hospital after being shot, and he wakes up and he's like, Karen, and it's Heather and his law partner. I don't remember. Christian McDuffie. I got it. They're sitting there, and obviously Heather, being the crappy character she is, gets mad, and Matt like just ignores her, calls McDuffie over, and is like, Vanessa ordered the hit on Foggy. I want those files and stuff. And then Kingpin sends Buck, or aka John Hamm, over to Matt's hospital to kill him with drugs, because I guess a dead hero is better than a living vigilante, which is complete bullcrap. But Fisk is the bad guy, so obviously he thinks that's true. But we get that Matt walks away being all cool and stuff. He's smiling and everything. He gets in his apartment, smells aftershave. He smiles. He sits on the couch, and boom, guess who's over there? Oh my God, it's Frank, back as Punisher after 5 episodes, I think. And obviously, Frank is like, someone called me to make sure you were okay. I think we can all guess who that was. The anti-vigilante task force shows up. Matt hears them. He walks away. Frank makes a little joke of Matt still in his hospital gown, so he's like, are you gonna fight them with your butt hanging out? And Matt just flips him off. He's just like, shut up. And then the task force breaks in. The doors open. Red flag, huh? They didn't notice. They get in. Matt comes down in a Daredevil suit, starts beating them, and then over towards the balcony, there's cops like looking at Matt, and then guess what? A gun pops up and blows this guy's brains out, and oh, here comes Punisher. Brutal. This fight scene was brutal. It was awesome. He's shooting people. There's blood flying everywhere. He acts as a guy. It's brutal. Him and Daredevil fight. Everyone's doing brutal. It's so great. Cole North gets knifed to the wall. Matt finds out he's the one who killed White Tiger. He almost kills him. Like, he's flashing. He wants to do it. Frank's urging him, and then Matt's like, he's not worth it. Don't do it. And then Frank like shoots another guy. He's like, how about him? And they get in an argument, and then a grenade comes in, and obviously Matt pauses, so Frank's like, grenade, and Matt's like, grenade. And then they run, and like they jump off the balcony. Matt grabs Frank and like does his little grappling hook, and then they slam in that car, get up through the car windshield. At like the camera pans up, and poof, there goes his apartment. That was cool. That was really cool. It's like in Daredevil Born Again comic book where Fisk blows up Matt's apartment. It was great. And then they're just standing on the road, and a car pulls up. The Daredevil Netflix theme starts playing, which I want to mention here. Them using the Netflix theme throughout the show was genius, perfect, whatever you want to call it. I love how it comes in at certain points. But anyway, back to it. Guess who gets out of the car? Karen Page. She's back. And I think the show benefits with her. Obviously, Matt carried it by himself. No, I'm just kidding, not by himself. But, like, Fisk, Punisher, for the little bit he was in, basically Matt. But, the show definitely, when Karen gets back, it definitely, it feels way more like the original. But, there's this little thing where she's like, get in, and then Matt's like, shotgun, and then Frank kind of like, respect. And then they go back to Frank's little hideout, patching up and everything. Frank asks Karen if she wants coffee. And I guess that in the Netflix series, coffee was a metaphor for another thing. So I'll say everyone's taking to be like, oh my god. But maybe not. I don't know. I haven't seen all the Netflix stuff. I've seen all 3 seasons of Daredevil. I've seen Defenders. I've seen the 2 seasons of Punisher, and I'm thinking about watching Iron Fist. I'm not watching Luke Cage, and I'm not watching Jessica Jones. But there's that. They ask Frank if he wants to help. He's like, no. Then she's like, take care as they walk away. Matt and Karen go to this place with like files and stuff, and they're searching for Red Hook and why exactly Vanessa would do it. And then one of my favorite scenes that's not action in this episode, Matt finds a box and he pulls this little thing out, and it's a piece of wood with the words avocados at law engraved on it. And then he basically tells Karen the story of what that means. I really, really, really like the scene. I don't remember. I think I might have shed a little manly tear. But I really liked how they brought that back. It was really cool. But then Karen finds the files. They find out Red Hook is basically exempt of anything, free of taxes, tolls, like anyone searching it. It's basically like a free state. And that's where Kingpin and Vanessa are thinking of like making their own little like community type thing where they can do whatever they want and it be legal. Frank he finds his way back in, goes to Red Hook, takes out a good couple cups because he's awesome. He he has like this little throwing axe thing. He chucks it in a guy's head. He like slices a guy's neck, and then his lower parts. There's this girl cop that I kind of laughed at this because like there's this girl cop and she walks up and Frank just like slams her in the face, and I was just like, I don't know why, but I found that kind of funny. Like, no offense to anyone, I just found that kind of funny because she's like screaming and everything, and then he just like punches her. But they end up capturing him, locking him up. Powell gives this whole stupid speech. It'd be an honor to serve with you. You're my hero. Blah blah blah. And Frank's just like, man, shut the heck up. You don't know the pain I've been through. So he basically just is like, you guys know nothing of the pain I go through. You guys know nothing of what I do. You guys should not be like having me as your role model. And then he's just like, shut up. And then obviously they capture him. Fisk and Vanessa go and show that they have like this cage with all these billionaires and stuff, and then there's Frank with chains and stuff. They eat in there. Fisk declares vigilante is illegal. He has a curfew and everything. And then the post-credit scene is Frank getting out because he's Frank. And then to finish off Matt's side, he goes to Red Hook, him and Karen. He's about to go in there, but he's all injured and stuff, can barely walk. And Karen's like, if you go in there, you're going to die. You're going to die. And then she's just like, why don't we regroup, start this next year with season 2. And Matt's like, fine, but we're going to need an army. And I did not expect any cameos because that's not what this season was building up to for the finale. It's building up to that for the next season. But a lot of people thought that meant the Defenders were going to show up, and I was like, I don't think that's happening. I was right. Disappointed a little bit, sure. But I saw that. But it ends with Matt giving Karen like this little speech in Josie's with his helmet off in the back. He's just like, I was raised like this. We get a little flashback to him as a kid. And then she gives this whole speech like, Foggy knew who you were we both knew who you were, and that didn't stop us. And basically, it's okay. You're Daredevil. You're Daredevil. So she leaves, gives him no. He puts the mask back on, and she opens the doors, and Matt walks out, and there's Josie, there's Cherry, there's the other girl cop that's been in a couple episodes, and then there's just like some cops and stuff. And Matt gives this really cool speech where he's just like building everyone up, and then he ends with saying that we're the city without fear. And then it has one of the coolest shots with like newspapers around a circle, and then Matt like through it, and then like he's bathed in red, and then that's the end until the post-credit scene. I like the way this episode wraps up. I like him getting his own little army. I liked his speech. Sorry. I liked his speech. I really, really like this episode. But it's obviously the best episode of the season. It's the best episode of television. If season 2, which I have almost 100% that it will, can have more than, if it can have half of its episodes as good as this episode, if not better, and the other half being like episode 6, episode 7 quality, it will be the best season of television ever. And after these last 2 episodes, I have full confidence that season 2 will be the best, and it will probably have some of the best television episodes ever. I do. Spoilers for season 2. I know we're talking about season 1, but I want to talk about season 2. There's been set photos, and Matt's in like the black, like he's in the red suit, but it's spray painted black. And the biggest part is he has the double D's on his chest. We're getting that in live action. Charlie Cox, Daredevil TV show. Ooh, it's awesome. But obviously, the season 2 was set up. The Punisher special presentation was set up, and season 1 of Daredevil Born Again wrapped up. Season 4 of Daredevil, basically. It had been 7 years for a lot of people. It had been only about a year for me. Because the finale of this season was wrapped up when I was in Florida. Last year, for spring break, I was in Florida. Same time of year. And that was the first time I watched the first Daredevil series. I had like season 1 and most of season 2 done before I got back home. So I thought it was kind of cool that Daredevil. So hopefully next year kind of stays with that. But what did I think? I've definitely gone down a little bit on the season since it started. I thought when it started, because I was just blinded and I was like, oh, this is cool, that this would be my favorite season of Daredevil, of television. Obviously, that's gone down a little bit. I'm going to give a little bit of hot takes. Obviously, it's better than the Defenders. I don't think anyone will argue that. I think it's better than season 1. I'm not the biggest fan of season 1. Like, I thought that it was too slow and stuff. And then, I think that it's probably a little bit higher or about the same as season 2. But the highs of this season are better than season 3, which I think is like the finale is better than anything. But I would say that the Defenders is around like a 5 out of 10. Season 1's probably like 8.5. Season 2 is probably 9. Season 3 is probably 9.5, on the cusp of 10, like, and then Born Again is probably 9.5. Daredevil season 2 is probably 9.5, actually. You know what? Season 2 and Born Again are either 9.5 or 9, both. But Season 2, I have full confidence that will be a 10 out of 10. I'm hoping it will. I'm expecting it to be. I hope that does not falter any of my anything. But yes, that is Daredevil Born Again Season 1. I need to find a way to be more expressive, don't I? I feel like I'm kind of boring to listen to. But Season 1 of Daredevil Born Again was definitely not as good as it could have been, but that's because they were dealt a crappy hand. It was way better than I think people were expecting it to be with everything that was going on. Season 2 will be March 2026. Sucks that we have to wait a whole year. Well, not full a year, but like, I don't want to wait that long. But 35 minutes of me talking about Daredevil Born Again. Hope you guys enjoyed it. These next couple of days, maybe today, I will have 3 videos. I will have my drop review, my warfare review, and my amateur review. I was gonna do Superman and Lois ranking for Superman Day, but I feel like time's passed for that. And then Ninjago, Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 1 was released. I was gonna do a video, but I think I'll just wait until the full season is released. And then later this week, the 25th, I will be doing a review. Probably not on the 25th. I don't know when I'll see it, but sometime this week, I will be doing a review for The Accountant 2, and then I will also be doing a review for Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, because that's releasing in theaters, and I want to have more videos so I can branch out. So I'm going to be doing a Revenge of the Sith review. But I hope you guys like this video. If all goes well, hopefully it will be uploaded soon. I have problems with uploading stuff. But I'm gonna go straight into reviewing Drop. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy watching me, listening to me. I'm hoping I do this for a really, really long time.